Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias. Welcome to day 226 of the year. How are you feeling this morning? Hopefully you woke up well rested after a lovely night of sleep and you are enjoying the cycle of a new morning and a new day wherever you are in the world. On day 226, according to 365 Tao by Deng Ming Dao, our word for today is repetition. So grab your book, grab your journal and something to write with. Find that nice, quiet and comfy place where you're not going to be disturbed for the next 15 minutes or so while we read together, remembering that 15 minutes is just 1% of your day. So you're starting this 1% of your day with intention, finding a nice, quiet place, being here and now and present. And remember that the best way to do that is with your breath. And let's start reading together on day 226 on the subject of repetition. My prayer beads are strung on my lifespan. I am not allowed to skip a single bead. Sometimes the bead is a seed, or a bone, or jade, or dry blood, or semen, or crystal, or rotted wood, or a sage's relic, or gold, or glass, or a prism, or iron, or clay, or an eye, or an egg, or dung, or a ball, or a stone, or a peach, or a bullet, or a bubble, or lead, or pure light. Wow, this bead can be a lot of things, right? Lots of options. No matter what the next bead is, I must count it. Perform my daily austerities, repeat, 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 until repetition becomes endurance. People seldom understand the power of repetition. Well, we're kind of doing that every morning here, right? Repeating our little morning practice, our little 15 minutes, our getting together, our reading. And I would say it's a powerful practice, right? People seldom understand the power of repetition. What is repeated over and over again can become enduring. What is done in a moment is seldom lasting. If farmers do not tend to their fields every day, they cannot expect a harvest. The same is true of spiritual practice. It is not the grand declaration or the colorful initiation that means anything. It is the ongoing, daily living of a spiritual life that has meaning. And that's kind of what we're doing here with our practice, right? We're repeating this every day, and it is an ongoing, daily living of a spiritual practice that has meaning, right? That's what we're doing here. Our progress may range from dull to spectacular, but we must accept both, right? That's the yin and yang of everything. On one side, you've got dull. On the other side, you've got spectacular, and you have to accept both. Each and every day should be linked together, strung into a long line of prayer beads. In life, if you don't know how many beads you've counted already, and you don't know how many beads are yet to come. All that matters is fingering the one that comes to you now and taking the spiritual significance of that moment to heart. So perhaps you are familiar with a string of prayer beads. I believe it's called a mala, and there's usually a certain number of beads. And a lot of people in a spiritual practice or a prayer, or the rosary in Christianity, right? Each bead, you will either like say a prayer or say a word, and you will kind of move through the prayer beads as like a repetition, as a cycle actually, and say a prayer or chant something or whatever it is. So it's this mala bead is something that's used in spirituality, but it's being used here in this context as like a metaphor for life, right? Like each day could be its own bead. Perhaps each year of your life could be its own bead. Each like season of your life could be its own bead. So I think that's what it's really asking us to think about here, is that life is moving in a constant cycle, but each bead is its own individual cycle, if that makes sense. And we have to accept whatever comes during the course of that cycle and those beads, whether it's good or bad, as it says here, yin or yang, black or white, dull or spectacular. We have to accept whatever comes and just continue with the cycle. So if you have a mala, or if you have a rosary, perhaps that's something that you could do today. You could use that as part of your practice. You might want to sit and meditate with it. You might want to just, if you don't have a meditation practice, you might just want to think of something. Perhaps you could even pull a sentence from here or something that resonates with you and just repeat it over and over, because repetition is the word for today as well. But just think about the cycles of your life and think about a prayer, a mala or a rosary or some sort of a piece of jewelry that has small beads on it. And think about each one of those beads representing something in your life. And the cycle is constantly turning, and we have to accept whatever comes. So I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day on day 226 of the year. Thank you so much for being here, and I will check in with you tomorrow. Bye.